Finally, Sky Striker gets a top 8. It has been so long, and Sword Soul, I think, overcomes one of the most interesting regional top cuts that they could have actually performed through. Make sure you guys smash the link crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So your breakdown for this regional is kind of interesting, because Sword Soul is the most represented deck out of your top cut. Now, I'm not surprised to see that in some of the regions that aren't, North America or Europe, do see higher Sword Soul representations. It's the same reason why we've seen Unchained kind of taking off in certain regions versus, other places, because the deck was formerly budget. If all of the budget players in the room get the chance to pick up new support for an incredibly cheap price, you're going to see a lot of value actually spin up. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing at all, but it does affect the meta in ways that I don't think people really expected to see. So Sword Soul, huge turnover representation. It's actually beautiful to see. I'm glad to see that people are incredibly hyped to see that this deck is still beating around here. Sword Soul, Sword Soul has been such a ride, this format. Like, it disappeared, and then it kind of pops back up, but that's about it. Now, the rest of the tournament here, we did have one purely in top cut, consistent top cutter, I'm not all that surprised. We have Sprite. Now, that I am a little bit surprised about. Sprite has had an incredible issue right now. The deck has just been getting bullied after bullied after bullied. We also have Unchained Twin, so we do have Unchained sticking around here with an Evil Twin package. Branded, which is a pretty consistent monster when it wants to be. We also had Sky Striker, which was the main reason why I wanted to turn on the camera and talk about this. And we had Tier Elements floating around back here as well. Tier does take a little bit more skill this format to actually play. It's not necessarily a bad thing whatsoever. Having decks that do involve a little bit more skill curve in the game, there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. Now let's pass on over to those deck lists. Winning our regional here was Sword Soul, actually maximizing on some heavy board breakers here. With triple Evenly and triple Dark Ruler No More in the main deck, I don't have a problem with that. I think if you're playing the game right now, you need to be able to have as much pressure to be able to put on the opponent as possible, and that's where you have things like the Dark Ruler No Mores and those Evenlies to tear through the opponent. That way you can start generating as much advantage as you possibly can. This build went as far as to even play triple copies of Forbidden Droplet down there, and with not a single cash tier out present in the top cut of this event, you are going to get a lot of insane value off of that. So no countering meta factors. You have huge board breakers present. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Also, the one talents in this deck is incredibly cute. Hey, if you see it, you see it. right? That's how that works. All right, second place back here is actually going to be Purely. So our Purely Duelist did manage to climb on up into a second place. It's not too bad. I mean, the deck is still one of the best decks in the room here. This deck is incredibly hand-trapped out of its mind. Like, you have Nibiru's, you have Drolls, you have Ashes, and you have the triple Imperm here. And they're also playing the book that we've seen pretty much doing its thing all format. One of the more interesting things about this list here, though, is we do have triple talents in the main deck. We have no thrust. We're not doing the dimensional barrier thing. It's kind of interesting. We're also side decking dimensional barriers as a 3 of. And we're side decking triple Summon Limit as well. We've seen Summon Limit kind of do its thing a little bit out of this format. I've actually, not gonna lie, I've enjoyed seeing Summon Limit be present in some of these formats. It definitely kind of proves that there is something to slowing down the course of the meta, especially when your opponent's like, what do I do? You lose. Number 3 out here is a very teched out version of Sprite. We are playing the Dino Wrestler level 2. We have the Infernal Divisor in here. We have Cap Shell in here as well. We have all of the standard ingredients that you're pretty much used to seeing. And then we have the Melfi extension package in here as well. So you're going to be able to do pretty much everything that you've wanted to do with a little bit extra, actually. The fact that you can toss all of this extra good stuff value into this deck and have it work out, I think proves how consistent of a monster that you can actually have Sprite be right now. This deck is one of those decks that you look at it in the room and you're like, wow. I still can't believe that the functionality of this deck flows the way that it does. It is such a punisher on the opponent, but I'll take it. Proves that we got some good validity going on in the format. Fourth place back here is going to be our Unchained Evil Twin deck, sporting off the triple Book of Eclipse. Now, once again, Book of whatever is going to be your flavor that you're going to want to toss into a deck like this. One thing I'm going to have people complain about is, oh man, they're playing Upstart Goblin in a 42-card deck. It still gets you the additional card. That's the main reason why people do give it some consideration to play. Especially, when you've already deck thinned out 8-9 cards off of your combo pieces. It's the main reason why people, tend to hold for it, or, they have to get in a little bit further for another starter. All right. It does work out in a lot of the ways that people might not like, but it does. Evil Twin package also gets you a lot of extra free draw power as well. Also, technically, the Upstart can trigger a nice little draw and Lockbird for you, so you can play under that. See, we're also side decking triple Skill Drain here as well, so you just kind of do a full Evil Unchained combo, good stuff. Next up is our second Sword Soul list in here, and the first thing I see here is a little bit more of a Yang Zing package. I see that we are actually doing Danglong plays. I think this is the first time in forever that I have seen Danglong have meta relevancy, is what we're going to call it here. Danglong came back, everybody lost their mind. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. But when you sit down and look at the raw data, it looks like it just kind of performed. So good stuff, actually, being able to toggle in the Yang Zing package in a deck like this and actually have it be successful on a run for a regional top. I like that. That's actually incredibly good to see. It proves that there's a lot more kind of happening in the meta that, maybe we missed. Sixth place back here is our Branded Duelist. And they are sporting off 48 cards in the main deck. Holy moly. They wanted to make sure that they had every usable card that they could actually find here. I also see that they are playing double Fenrir in the main, so you can Fenrir into Fenrir, use the abusiveness of it, get the swing, and go ahead and laugh at your opponent. Also puts another monster on the field for you technically to fuse with. It's never going to happen because you want the Fenrir to stick around, but I mean, options are options. We have triple Dark Roller and we have triple Evenly in the main deck. So we are board breaker central here. We want to make sure that we can put that pressure on the opponent and make sure that we can play the game. Outside of that, everything else, side deck is a little bit more interesting. I see that we are playing the extra branded trap card down there as well. With triple, there can only be one. Okay, I haven't seen a lot of TC Boot. And also, triple Forbidden Droplet. Well, when Cashier is not present in your regional, you can do whatever you want. Next up is our Sky Striker variant. And, whoo, boy. Double Talents, double Book, double Raigeki. We're playing the Change of Heart. I don't blame them for playing the Change of Heart. It's a free auto spell in the graveyard going second. Gives you the ability to take something off your opponent's field. And I mean, you could just make a Rock'em Sock'em Zeus. All right? Why not? We're also playing double Veiler, double Droll, triple Ash, and we are on triple Imperm. So our spread of hand traps is pretty standard to what I feel like a lot of the meta kind of opens up for here. And our sideboard is so many traps. We are siding 12 additional trap cards in the side deck with triple Nibiru. So we're becoming a stun control deck. That's all that this is. All right. If we think that the opponent's doing something that's going to be an issue, just go ahead and clean it up. All right. You got Solemn Judgments, you have TC Boots, you have Dimensional Barriers, Evenly Matches, you got everything you need. And our last list here is actually our Tier Elements duelist here. I see we are playing 40 cards. We are playing the one Herald, which I think has become pretty normal at this point in time. I also see that we are side decking a Token Collector down here. Somebody said, you know what? I am worried about Sword Soul. We're going to go ahead and side a Token Collector. This format is so far in the past that it's actually hilarious to see the lines of innovation that are coming out of this. This is quite beautiful. I'm happy to see a lot of the stuff that came out of this regional. It's nice to see the differences in the metagame and how things are going. So what do you guys think about this breakdown? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.